Hi, my name is Marie Diamond. I'm a Feng Shui master, and you know me also from the hit movie and bestseller, The Secret. So today I'm going to share with you how to set up your living room or your family room, the place where you are gathering with your family and your friends. So there are some rules that you can practice there to make sure that there's more harmony, more wonderful conversations, more joy between you and your children and any friend and any family member that comes over. So the first step is always making sure that your living room feels as spacious as possible. I've seen too many times people put too much on their walls, too much items in their cupboards. It is important that you have space to move around. So sometimes people almost have to cabinet after cabinet and a lot of sofas. Just imagine that there's space. Yeah, we are not just a physical person. We have energy around us, or aura field. But every item, every sofa, every couch needs some space around it. So don't overdo your living room, right? So around every image, make sure there is space around it. Around every vase, there is space around it. Every item you place there is some space around it. Just don't put everything up there, because I've seen this over and over again. So make sure there is space around everything, around your sofa, around your images, around the vases, around the pictures. So don't make it like everything is stuffed, right? Because then it will be harder to have space for good communication and space for each other. If you are talking to your family and having a wonderful time together, and there's so much information, because everything around you is data, it is an information aspect, then it's harder to find space for joy and space for harmony. So that's one of the first things I would like you to do. The second thing is you always want to make sure that when you have a sofa, when you have a couch, that you can put it in such a way that you can see the door to the hallway coming from your entrance. So that when you open the door from your entrance and you go into your living room or family room, you can see the people sitting. You never want the back of the couch towards the entrance, because then you're actually saying for people coming in, I'm not really interested in you. I'm not open for a conversation. I'm closing myself off. If you put a sofa in the middle of the room, then you actually are saying to the people coming in, you know what, you're not so welcome. Don't come and sit with us. But if you put it against the wall and people come in, they're like, oh, please sit down. So you always want to have that welcoming feeling. In the living room, you always want to make sure the center of the living room is as open as possible. Put the sofa, the cabinets against the wall so that there's an open flow in the center of your living room. You will see there will be much more harmony and peace in the family when they are talking with each other. One of the things that I'm also seeing is people come in and the first item people see is the television, right? And then the sofa is around it. Well, I always say to people, you do not want the king of the space to be your television. Guess what people will do? Always watching television. Yeah. So make sure the sofa, right, your couch is in a place that when you come in, you see that first. When you sit down, then on the other wall, you can have your television. Yeah. So the television cannot be the first item you see when you come from the hallway into your living room. So let's talk about images. So in your living space, you need to focus on images connected with the family. Family pictures, wonderful to have them there. But make sure that you have pictures from your children or grandchildren as they are right now. Don't keep their baby pictures out there. I remember this one woman, and she had 3 beautiful sons. The sons were 25 till 30. And when you came in, you see their baby picture still beautiful big pictures above the couch. And I said to her, your kids, do they love sitting here? Oh, said, no. They want to sit in the kitchen, or they go to their bedroom. They kind of are still living in with us. And I said, yeah, because you're telling them each time they come into the living room, stay my baby, be small. She said, oh, I never thought about that. So she took these images out and put a beautiful picture of her whole family. Right? As she walked in, she could see her whole family as they are now grown up. And she said, it was amazing. First of all, they wanted to come and sit in the couch with us. We start having this very adult, in-depth conversations with each other. They were like really acting like adults. Before, I always felt I was the mom, and they were like little babies to me. I said, yes, because he gave them permission to be babies. Yeah. And she said, and suddenly they start talking like, yeah, Mom, it's time to go on my own. And I found an apartment. And she said, now they come together in my living room when we have family gatherings. But within a year, they all flew out of the nest. And I had such a hard time before to get them out. And she said, I got it because I told them, stay babies with me. So the images around you, when you put them from the family out there, it's wonderful to do that. But make sure they are current pictures. Sometimes people put a lot of images out from family members, right? And I always say to people, try to have images of, again, current images and not too much images of people that passed on. So if you do have images of people that have passed on, definitely do not put them in your bedroom, right? Because in your bedroom, you don't want dead energy because you're re-energizing yourself there. So in the living room, you can put pictures up from people that have passed on, but don't have them too big, yeah? So let them not dominate a living space. This is a living room, so you want the living to be first priority. So make sure there is some picture of the people that have passed on, your parents, perhaps even your children, siblings, family members, but make sure the images are not so big. That's the first thing. And then there is something called your energy number. So you can go to the energy report on mariediamond.com. And if you have energy number 1, 3, 4, or 9, people that have passed on are best in the west of your living room. So the west wall, there will be better for your energy. If you have energy number 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8, it's better to put images of people that have passed on in the north side of your living room. But again, don't make the pictures too big. This is the focus on the living. One of the reasons, as we call it the living room, it's really to come together. Right? So make sure there's not so much images or statues that are by themselves, like one single person or an image of a single person or image of a single statue or a single vase. This is about gathering. So put 2 vases together or 2 candles, or put images up not from people by themselves, but together with friends or families. So have that feeling of togetherness that will stimulate the living room. In the living room area, I always suggest plants. Yeah, plants is something I would try to avoid in the bedroom because in the bedroom you are at night, yeah, and plants need to be in a place where you are during the daytime. So plants can be definitely in the living room, office space, dining room, kitchen area. But in your living room, make sure you put lush plants and no plants with sharp edges. Even if they're healing plants, I know some people have beautiful aloe veras. I would say to people, put them rather in your kitchen area. Don't put them in your living area because you don't want any sharp energy. Why is that? Because then people will start having faster conflicts with each other. There's like this spikiness will drive people to criticize faster, and you don't want that. You want harmony. Another thing I suggest for people is to not have images or objects that are attacking energy, or have to do with violence. So like images of weapons or even weapons. Sometimes people hang weapons above the fireplace in certain countries. So don't do that. So it's possible you have trophies like from the ancestors, they had the head of a bear or a head of a deer. These are not things we want in the living room. Again, this is for the living, this is not for the dead. So anything that creates violence or dead energy, you want to avoid it. The same with dead plants, potpourri, for example, right? So you do not want to have dead items. You don't want to have dead plants. So it's living plants, or if you cannot do the real plants, use fake plants, but not dead plants. So you can be, plants made out of silk or plastic, but not like plants that have died, because that is not helping the living energy, the life force that you want to create in that area. I also have sometimes seen that people have the ashes of a loved one, for example, out in the living room. I would suggest that people put it in a cabinet, yeah, because again, it's not connect with the life force that you really want in your life. Plants are a wonderful symbol of life force, and there's certain areas in the living room where plants are always stronger. So if you take the compass and you hold the compass in the center, try to find out where east, southeast, and south is. So that is the areas where you can put definitely plants. It can bouquet of flowers, plants, even images of flowers, images of green, of nature, landscapes are very, very good in your living room. But everything that's to do more focused towards nature and trees and flowers, go for south, southeast, and east area, or the walls of your living room. So we try definitely to avoid to have them in the north area, because in the north we do need images of water. So it can be a river image, it can be a sea. I would not do too much images of waterfalls because it's too much rushing energy and then people get too nervous in the living space. Also images that you have like from a port where you see the boats being stuck or being anchored is not a very positive image, because as you're in the living room, the people that are sitting there will start feeling more stuck in their living, in their future. So try to avoid that. So the images around you must be inspiring, must be to do with the family, can be landscape, and definitely work with warm colors in the living room. Yeah. So don't go too much in white and black. Yeah, because then people will start thinking white and black. Right? They will start thinking in extremes. So in the living room area, you can definitely do all kinds of colors, right? We always want to honor the 5 elements from Feng Shui. So we want the green, the wood energy, so we have plants. So if you don't want to do plants, then you can put images of plants, or you can work with some greens and browns. We want definitely some fire, right? So that's why a fireplace, for example, is great in the living room. The one place we always try to avoid having a fireplace is in the northwest area of a home. So if your living room is in the northwest of your floor plan, do not have a fireplace if possible. Or in the living room, if the fireplace would be on the northwest wall, we try to avoid that. Why is that? We call it actually that there's fire on heaven's gate. That's kind of an expression of the Chinese. It actually says that the man will have less power. He will lose faster his job. He will start becoming more vulnerable. So the male power, not just from the men, but from the sons, will actually go down. So we try to avoid that. So if you have a fireplace, you can go towards the south wall or even the southwest or the northeast wall. There are actually stronger fireplace areas. But fire is something I always want to activate. So in a sofa, I would always go with orange or some red or some purple pillows to bring a little bit of fire to the living energy. So because then people will have more conversations going on. But I would not do a red sofa, for example, or a red carpet. It's just too much. Or a red wall. Again, it's a little bit overwhelming, the fire. But definitely put some candles out. Like if you have a coffee table, always put a candle. And when you come in, lit the candle. When you're together with your family, it creates a centeredness, it creates more recognition, it creates more respect, and actually creates more peace by putting a candle on the coffee table. And make sure it's like a warm aroma, good aromas, and we're going to talk a little bit more about in another YouTube video, talking about candles and smells, but definitely like vanilla or something warm, or cookie smell, or you know, a Halloween smell like the cookie dough, right, from Halloween, or pumpkin, is something that is really brings people together, makes it more warmer to be together. Always make sure you have some carpets in the living room, especially in front of your sofa, and then you can put your coffee table on top of it. When there is a carpet, and try to have a carpet that, you know, has a little bit of more thickness to it, so that you can put like your feet going kind of in it. It feels immediately like the energy calms down. And depending if you can go for a woolen or a synthetic, make sure that it's not like a carpet that is totally flat. There must be a little bit of a depth to it. Warmer colors to a carpet is always wonderful. You can go for a red carpet. You can do browns. I would definitely go for fire or earth colors. Browns, beiges, oranges, but do not go for green carpet or blue carpet, because think about blue or even black, it stands for water. And so it's like if you put your feet on it, like your feet are in the water. And that is not a very good metaphor, to have your feet in the water. It means you actually are not going far in your life. So definitely your pictures of your family can be there, pictures of you and a couple, if you're as a partner together in the living room, put that out there. Tell the world this is a place where we love to gather. I also suggest to put some crystals out there, and good crystals for the living room are amethysts, rose quartz, citrine. Crystals are really powerful. And there's a YouTube video exactly about crystals, and you can go more into that. But just very briefly, if you work with rose quartz crystal, then it's like kind of a pink form of a crystal. The best place for it is in the southwest. If you work with a more purple amethyst, the best place is in the northeast. And the white quartz crystals, if you want to work with them, or citrine quartz crystals, is best in the west or the northwest area. You definitely try to avoid having crystals in the south area of your living room, because the conversation will become less respectful. So I hope these are some of the ideas that you have. And I can hear some of you already talking like, Marie, and what about clutter? Can we just have clutter in our living room? No, there is no way to have clutter in your living room. And sometimes people, they come in the living room in the morning, and there's still literally your cups and glasses and plates are on the coffee table. Before you're sitting there, make sure they are cleaned up, right? Even before you go to sleep at night, just put things in the kitchen, right? Because that's so much better. So make sure there's no shoes hanging around in your under the coffee table. Try in the morning to take them away, and so that during the day, because the living room is the day energy, there is no clutter around. And make it very nice, so that if there is an unexpected guest coming into your living room, that there is a welcoming feeling. And some of you are saying, but nobody's ever coming to me. Well, perhaps because there is too much clutter, and you'll prioritize the clutter instead of the people visiting you. Yeah. So as you open up the space, more people will come to you. Also put some music on, some nice background music, because when you come into your living room, it has been perhaps not been used for a whole day, perhaps a few days. Make sure you put a candle on, put some nice background music on. I know some people put immediately the television on, but you know, try to do a little bit less of television, especially if you're not sitting there, right? Just having a nice background, smoothing energy is so wonderful. And if you do candles, I just want to say, make sure you take candles with some essential oil in it, something that has a certain smell. It's always so much better. So these are some steps, and I hope you get some more out of it. There's more YouTube videos where we're talking about your office, about your bedroom. So enjoy having a wonderful family time in your living room.